Pulsar Helium is developing its Topaz helium project in Minnesota, and progress is being expedited with access to additional project finance, which is just one of the achievements for this recently listed company. Co-founder, president and chief executive Thomas Abraham James joins us now. So Thomas, just over a week ago, shareholders learned about more funds from a private placement and access to a $4 million facility without dilution and at a premium. How did you achieve that in a capital-constrained market?
Nice to see you, Sarah. And look, we're really pleased with the result, I must admit. To have this level of support is quite tremendous. It really does embolden us to know that we're onto something that is needed, and that certainly with the ongoing shortage of helium. But really, we've had tremendous support from the US, and so with this financing and with the project financing facility as well, both coming from the US, most of the financing coming from US institutions, and then with the loan itself coming from a bank in Michigan. So look, tremendous level of support. They see what we see, and also, I mean, really, we're moving pretty rapidly. So we've only been listed for, was it just over a year? And we want to keep up that momentum, and this financing allows us to do so. And myself, selfishly or not, as the third largest shareholder in the company, I really am very pleased to see a non-dilutive financing option. So it's a great win for the company.
Okay, so what is it that you see? Why are these funds so important at this stage of development? Why do you need access to finance now?
To keep up the momentum. So we've just completed the drill program, so deepening Jetstream 1, drilling number 2, and now we've got the flow testing, the all-important flow testing just commencing. And then really after that, we do want to evolve the company towards looking at what does production look like. And so that would be a resource update, economic assessments. We have an agreement in place with a company called Chart Industries who'll be looking at the different production scenarios and utilizing their technology, and really they're the top of their game for it. And so really we just, on the back of the success that we've had, we want to maintain that momentum and keep the news flow as steady as possible.
So in terms of that technology that you've mentioned with that counterparty, how disruptive is it? Does it give you a competitive edge?
I think it does, to be honest. I think if we look at a few of the other primary helium companies that have gone into production, they've used different companies. Chart Industries really is the top of its game. So for a lot of the infrastructure that we see on a day-to-day basis at petrol stations or gas refineries and so on, the Chart is involved in every spectrum of the industrial gas space and indeed energy as well. And they are the top of the game. So what we like about being aligned with them is, firstly, they certainly like what they see at our project. On top of that, one of their largest facilities is in Minnesota, very close to where we are. But also, it's reliable, known technology. So it's something which is, I guess, you're going for the gold standard, and with that, something which would be, when we get to that stage of production, we could tell the market that this is what we're going to do. And having that known brand behind us and their known technology, I think the chance of us succeeding is much higher.
So at this stage of development, is it still your aim for you, your company, to take it into production? Or do you see yourself as outsourcing the production element? Because a lot of people are saying, what's the exit plan? What's the end game?
Mm-hmm. For us, it is going into production. So with Chart Industries, with what they would design, ultimately it's something that we would purchase. So it's something that we would own ourselves. For that, you're looking at going to debt finance for that as well, so that we would then be paying that off with potential revenues from gas sales. And really, we don't see any need to go off and have a third party to assist with the processing, really, because we're not talking about large quantums of money either. For a processing facility, you're talking in the range of something on the small side, about 15 million US, on the large side, 50 million US. And certainly from a mining company perspective, to have those kind of capital numbers is something that they probably dream of, because they're very small. with the high value of the helium product as well, anticipate that the payback period isn't very long. So for all those reasons combined, certainly we are very much focused on becoming an independent producer of helium.
Okay, so you listed on AIM because you're a multi-lister, but you listed on AIM in October. You and I have spoken many times since then, so you've obviously made progress. So what are the key milestones that you have achieved? Have you under-promised and over-delivered?
I like to think so. With the deepening of the well, the Jetstream #1. So last year we drilled; it was successful. We've deepened that. We've told the market that we've seen additional gas shows at depth, so that appears certainly to have been successful. And then the same replicating that with the second well too. So getting good gas shows, helium readings at surface. There's no water involved, which simplifies everything no end. The gas naturally comes up to surface. We don't do fracking, nor would we ever, and there's no need to. It's a new discovery. It's extremely high concentration. It's just got so much working in its favor. And probably it's one Achilles heel, I would say, is most likely is that from some people would be looking at it saying, well, hang on, is this too good to be true? And certainly with the work that we're doing, we're a very technically focused team, de-risking it every step of the way. And so far, it really has surpassed expectation, and long may that continue.
Talk to me about the yin and yang of having so much exposure to the US. So you've got the Trump administration, which is drill, baby, drill. But then the stock markets in the US, they're not quite tanking, but growth has moderated on the stock market trajectory. So I'm just wondering whether you just got your funding in the nick of time, because investors over there maybe are spooked by the Trump administration's organisation and tariff tactics.
Well, there is quite a great deal of uncertainty at the moment, but the good thing I can say is that helium is politically agnostic, that the need is very much there no matter what. Helium is very much a future-focused commodity. So in terms of additional technology, that includes defense spending, it includes AI, it includes medical tech, these things that are only growing in their requirements. So therefore, and then with the continuing shortage, and then I guess with the US being the #1 producer of helium, however, its production has been in fairly significant decline for a decade now, and so therefore, in terms of commodity protection, having a new domestic supply to offset that deficit, to offset the reliance on importing helium from countries which are having tariffs put on them, but also helium is notorious for not liking to travel long distances. It likes to leak. So having a domestic source for something which is really, fueling future technology is seen very much of importance, and we're getting a great deal of interest from the US because of that, regardless of the macro economy situation.
Yeah, understood. So finally, Q1 of 2025 is over. So what will the next quarter provide in terms of goals and announcements?
Yeah, for us, so with the flow testing, which is underway, so the equipment's they're arriving on site. So we'll be doing quite lengthy tests on each well. So they'll be flowed for a couple of weeks each. That will give us very reliable data that we can then feed into our modeling for production scenarios. There'll be a resource update as well. And so really off the back of that, with any luck, we can then start to talk about, okay, this is what it looks like for us to be able to get into production. In the meantime, we're not resting on our laurels. We are going out there, we're acquiring additional seismic data as well to see just how large this is. At the moment, it's open-ended, so we really don't know the true scale of it, but it certainly looks significant. So there's quite a lot. I think I'm going to be a very busy boy for the rest of this year and for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Well, look after yourself whilst you're busy. Thomas Abraham James, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.